I was wanting to start this episode just as jolly as I could. And as we're pushing go live, Chalen says, "Are we talking about the Chiefs moving to Kansas City? No, not moving. Moving away from Kansas City, Missouri, and moving into Kansas."
Yeah.
I was having a great day. I got a hat on. I got my freezing season shirt on. I've been having a fantastic morning.
And I
And
ruined
how
it.
quickly did that change? Listen, I'm unwell. Welcome to the Medicare Cafe. We're just in the pre-chat section, so we got a couple minutes where we just log on a little bit early, answer your burning questions if you have any, or sometimes it's just pure chaos. I don't know why you would expect any chaos today. Oh my gosh, I just noticed the Christmas tree star. It's our Christmas tree. And it's got lights and ornaments. Oh my gosh, Sadie outdid herself. Good for her. Guys, this is the 23rd, the Christmas Eve. So excited to do today's cafe. Chalen and I are actually off today. We took off today to spend time with our family. So actually, Theo and Kate are in studio in-house today. Sadie is playing babysitter, which is great practice because I think, she's great with child. And so we're really excited about 2026. I don't know. I'm going to make it weird. I'm going to stop right there because I don't think there's an out where I don't make this really uncomfortable for everybody. So welcome. First of all, Chalen, favorite Christmas movie? I think we've talked about this before. Favorite Christmas movie, go.
All-time favorite, probably the Feltmation Rudolph.
Classic. Just a classic.
Favorite of like the last 3 years is probably A Christmas Story Christmas. Like sequel to A Christmas Story.
Oh, okay. That's the one with the kid. The You'll Shoot Your Right Off.
Yeah. And then they made a sequel to it like 4 or 5 years ago.
Really? I had no idea. And the guy's in it, right?
Yeah.
Because I just remember his eyes
and...
are like the craziest color blue ever. Oh, okay. I'll have to see that. I hate A Christmas Story.
Yeah, no, I don't really care for the original either, but the sequel's actually
actually really good. Okay.
Yeah. It's the right amount of like kitschy nostalgia, but also just like pretty good movie.
Really? Okay. Do they
Good
still do
Christmas
like on
movie.
TBS where they run A Christmas Story back to back to back the entire day?
I think it's like they pick a day, they pick a movie, that's what you get that day.
Is it? I always thought it was A Christmas Story that was just like 24/7. Guys, as we get started, just a reminder, this is my phone number. You can text me at any time. I will respond, even over the holidays. If you just want to text me Merry Christmas, one, I would love that. So please do so. Text me Merry Christmas. But also just if you have any questions, comments, concerns, threats, or promises, that's where I respond to.
Weigh in is Die Hard a Christmas movie? What we want to see your thoughts.
Okay, so somebody actually...
I didn't say I wanted yours. I just want theirs.
No. So the great Macaulay Culkin, the godfather of Christmas, as he self-proclaims, he calls himself the godfather of Christmas. He says that it's not a Christmas movie, and I tend to agree with his logic. He says because you could have it set over Memorial Day, it could be set over Thanksgiving, it could be set over Valentine's Day, and the plot isn't affected at all. And he goes, for it to be a Christmas movie, it has to like surrounding Christmas. It can't just take place during Christmas. I want to see if my hat, does it do the reverse thing? It doesn't. Okay. Anyways.
It's top to bottom, not side to side.
But like a sequin change?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, so focused. Oh, no, it's like that the rest of the time. Okay. My favorite Christmas movie, no one asked, but I'm going to answer anyways.
Yeah.
A Muppets Christmas Carol.
Ooh,
that is by far an elite Christmas movie. And I tried to show it to my son like a year or two ago. He's 5. Tried to show it to him. He was terrified. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's Muppets. And then I was watching it and I was just like, no, this is dark. This is really dark. This is terrifying. So, like, I think that's just, like, the 90s in us of just being, like, traumatized by our media. But Christmas, Muppet Christmas Carol, elite Christmas movie.
So I saw something the other day. They were talking about, like, A Christmas Carol. Like, first of all, what disease did Tiny Tim have where, like, he was obviously, like, on death's door, but somehow, like, a hefty Christmas dinner cured him?
Christmas goose. He's like, holy crap, this was it.
Well, so the thing is, there was a doctor in Ohio that like was bothered by this and did research, and there is an answer.
What's the answer?
So he very,
This
very
is the most
likely,
important thing you're going to hear all day.
he very, very likely had tuberculosis, like many, many people do. He probably also had rickets because of malnutrition, and malnutrition really apparently amplifies the symptoms and outcomes for tuberculosis. So,
Because
yeah,
he was like
that
coughing. It was
literally,
the frog version. I don't know the real version, but the frog, Kermit's son was.
yeah, all the time. And apparently, yeah, the Christmas goose probably actually did
Saved his
save his life.
Oh, that's beautiful. Why am I getting emotional? I love that. Guys, for the this isn't the last episode of Medicare Cafe for 2025. We're gonna try to do it next Tuesday as well. So this isn't the last episode, Ricketts. This isn't the last episode, but it is the last episode before Christmas. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all the stuff in between. What I wanted to talk about today, and I was actually kind of like thinking through it, was actually like a pretty harsh conversation. So I'm gonna seem jolly, but I think I'm gonna be a little mean. So today, what I wanted to talk about today was
We're talking Muppets, I'm sorry.
was figuring out what your value add is as an agent, as an agency, your value add. And this is something there, I think, like, I want to talk about this today because you really need to, happy holiday, Madeline. You really need to, we talked a lot about, like, what are you doing different in 2026? What's your marketing going to look like? To help you focus on what are you marketing, what are you advertising, what's getting you referrals, really need to kind of take the time to think about what your value add is. And I remember this would have been, probably almost 10 years ago now. I was sitting in Chicago in a table full of like senior marketing specialists, top producers, and we were sitting in a circle. And I remember this question was asked to this group, and it was, what is your number one, like, what is your value add? And every single one of those people said the exact same thing. It was, we make Medicare easy. We make Medicare easy to understand. That is not unique. That's doing the bare minimum. But every single one of them, the top of the top,
That's the job.
all said the exact same. And now and at that point, we were kind of focusing on, I think it's still true. Your competition isn't necessarily the same agent in town. It's not the agent down the street. It's basically your competition is now convenient and means of enrollment, which is online enrollment, call center enrollment, things that take less time.
Yep.
So convenience is a big thing. That's a good value add for ChatGPT. That's a value add for Google. That's a value add for these call centers. So it can't. So like, what I wanted to talk about today is like really kind of how do you hone in on like what do you do different that Google can't do? Because if it's making Medicare easy to understand and guiding them through the process, ChatGPT does it and might do it better than you. So like, what is your true value add?
Yeah, and I think, the other thing is as you look at that, a lot of agents and agencies tend to go too far down the wrong path. They come up with a gimmick rather than a real value add.
Yeah, that's a great point.
They'll say, well, we send out handwritten Christmas cards, and like that's amazing and that's great, and that's not scalable at all. And so I think there are elements of this value add discussion where you can absolutely go down the wrong path and find yourself in a position where you've started something that is really difficult to stop, but once you scale, it's going to be really difficult to keep up with, or it's going to cost a lot of money, or it's going to cost a lot of time. And if your value add is the thing that ends up capping your growth, then who is it a value add to?
God, that's so complicated because like
I know, right?
it is. And it's so because scalability is huge there. You can't scale yourself. So we see a lot of agents. I keep looking at Alex. Like Alex is vibing with me. Thank you.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about people who say like me, myself, and I am the best agent. Don't talk to anybody else. Only talk to me about anything. And that's their value add. Like you get me every time. That's not scalable. So then whenever those agents start getting downline, but even more like admin, when these agents start getting a receptionist or an appointment setter or even somebody that handles the ancillary, just somebody else to answer questions, that the value add is no longer there. And your clients even get offended by being Chalen doesn't have time for me. Like, no, you need to have Chalen call me back because that's what the value add is working specifically with Chalen. So something to think about. I didn't have that on my Uno card today. Uno card? Bingo card?
Dance card.
Dance card. I didn't have that on my agenda today. But you're absolutely right. When you're looking at a value add, scalability is everything.
Well, and I think a lot of people confuse value add with like something extra. In my mind, like the number one thing, if you look at any business, not just our industry, I've got a buddy that owns a power washing company. I went out and had a beer with him last night, and we were talking about how business is going. And I mean, this guy scaled his power washing business from he got a free power washer that a friend of his bought and then didn't want to power wash their own house. So his buddy was like, "Hey, you can have this power washer if you'll come power wash my house." And that's how he
What a
started. That's how
grind.
he started the business.
Okay.
And he'll probably pull down 400,000 this year
That's crazy.
by himself. And
Probably upgraded the power washer.
he has
though.
upgraded
Okay.
a couple of times
Okay.
since then.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
I don't know how power washers work.
But he told me, he said the number one thing is he answers his phone,
Gosh, yes.
which is so simple,
So simple.
and he shows up when he says he's going to show up.
Which is so
And-
uncommon in like a service
really is.
field. That's
It really
silly.
is. But like he has more business than he can handle just by doing 2 or 3 very simple things. And I think our industry is a lot like that too, where the most successful value add you can have is consistency. If you can come up
Gosh,
with
so
a
true.
process, and if you can do it, because I think that's the thing that bothers agents and bothers people is you have to strike that balance between having a familiar and repeatable system and always trying to improve. Because I think a lot of folks think, well, my presentation could be better. My, whatever could use some tweaks, or I could say this a different way. But the problem is then they say it a different way every time.
Yeah.
And there's a way to experiment without ruining the flow of your process. You need to have a repeatable process and system, and you've got to be willing to have the willpower to do the same thing 100 times in a row and make that your client experience.
We preach the 8-step selling process. That we talk about gosh, what a good point of like the appointment process can be a value add. But we talk about the 8-step appointment process. It's the same every time, just like you go to the doctor. It doesn't matter why you go to the doctor. The process is the exact same every time, whether you have sinus infection or glass stuck in your foot. The process is the same. Those are very specific for a reason. The process is the same every single time. And what we found with that is, one, what the body does is insane. Your brain is the coolest thing ever. The brain's the only organ that's named itself. Love that fact. But what it does when you do something and you repeat it and it's a thing that goes, it becomes a habit. When you form this habit, the part in your brain that does it, you actually kind of go on autopilot and allows your brain to actually go into other things, other activities, and other focuses. So when your appointment process becomes a habit, it actually frees up mental energy to be more engaging, to pay more attention to certain details, to be more creative in your pitches and your transitions. But it is really important that the process looks. My favorite example of this is why I think it's such a value add is because people hate not knowing what's next or hates not knowing what to expect. Like the unknown is terrifying to people. So if they can get into this rhythm and know what to expect, letting people know exactly what is your appointment going to look like before you're at the appointment relieves so much anxiety, and that in itself is a value add. We talk about Stephen King. Are you familiar with Mr. King?
I'm familiar.
Have you? Okay, I didn't know. He's kind of like my secret little, I don't know, a lot of people know him. So he is into horror, right?
I've heard.
Okay, so his big thing, what he always tells people when like it comes to like movie, like when they make adaptations of his movies, when they do anything like that, he always, oh, my hat fell. He always says, don't show the monster. Don't describe the monster. Don't look at the monster. Don't show the monster. Because they said the human mind and the anxiety that humans have will make whatever they picture they form in their mind will be way, way worse than what you could ever describe.
Pitting the pendulum.
Yes, yeah. Oh my God, what a hi 8th grade reading class. Did you guys have to read that? What was wrong with our childhood that they kept Muppets and people getting sliced open with rats? Anyways, so, but yeah, that's the whole point is like if you let them know what's coming next and get the expectations and be very clear about what the expectations are, what they're going to see, it does a lot. It really does heighten that client experience.
I think a lot of people try to improve the wrong part of their process too. A lot of folks will agonize over their sales process, their appointment process, but they won't look at what will that actually do for their business. If you're already closing, say, 80% of your appointments and you feel like your sales process, your appointment process could be a little bit better, you're probably wrong.
Yeah.
You're at that point, you're just not seeing enough people. Like if you take that from 80% close rate to 85% close rate, is that going to make a significant impact on your business, or is the way to focus your energy just seeing more people at that same 80% close rate? So finding out what is going to be a bigger improvement for you, I think makes a lot of sense.
ROI. I have all sorts of stories today. I haven't talked to people this morning because I haven't been in the office. So this is your guys' problem. I'm sorry. So one thing that was really impactful to me when it talks about where do you invest in your business? Like where do you invest in your value add? It was actually, I've talked about it on the show before. It was a Shark Tank episode.
Yeah.
And what it was this person came in, they were selling pizza boxes. And the way that the pizza box works is that the lid actually turned into plates. And then you if the perforated edges, the lids turn into plates, and then the lid actually turned into like a smaller pizza box. So it was how to take up less room, and it was like a full user-friendly pizza. And I was like, oh my gosh, the Sharks are gonna go for this. This is the coolest thing ever. Like, what a great idea. And the question that somebody asked was, how does this help somebody sell more pizza? This is a cool box. This is a great idea. It's not going to sell more pizza. Nobody is going to go to this pizza place because of this box, and for that I'm out. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you selling? What people are actually interested in? I think an example of that in the Medicare space is that people who do a full Medicare one-on-one hour-long presentation and teaches somebody about Medicare during an appointment. Like, people don't need to know where the sausage is made. They lose interest. You cannot compete with some. You can't. I mean, to talk about Medicare with an individual for an hour, but people, especially our veteran agents, want to show up and throw up. That's what they think their value add is. I'm so knowledgeable. I teach people Medicare. People don't really want to know Medicare. Just ask any of my friends and family at a party that I'm at. Nobody wants to learn Medicare. That's why they use an expert.
Here's the dirtiest little secret. If you really think that they know anything about Medicare after 1 hour with you,
absolutely not. No.
I'm sorry. I don't care who you are watching this, and this is rude, but you're not that good a teacher.
It's better with the hat. I think you can be a little rude with a Christmas hat.
But I mean, really, you think about it. You take a 1 hour class on anything, like you're not retaining 100% of that.
You're not retaining 20% of the information.
Optimistically.
That's if they're paying attention.
And the idea that anyone is really getting that much value out of an hour long Medicare 101 is silly.
And you're not getting referrals because no one's going to put their family members through that.
Yeah, who decided shopping for insurance was fun? Because I think agents are like...
You're telling me this isn't fun.
We're not shopping for insurance.
This is true, but I'm just saying we're having a good time.
We're having a great time. But I think we've convinced ourselves that our clients like shopping for insurance. And admittedly, there are clients that like going out, seeing people, talking to people, having that social interaction. But there's nothing about the insurance shopping process that is fun for most people.
No. And that's why, again, especially today's baby boomers, we are seeing convenience-based enrollments really taking off more so than they ever have before. So just keeping that in mind, I don't go to a mechanic when I get my oil change and want him to tell me exactly what he's doing in my car. I went to a mechanic because I could. I think it's pretty easy. I don't want to. I don't want to spend the time doing it. And I trust a professional to do it on my behalf. It's kind of the same thing. Now, Michelle does ask a great question, compliance required with teaching Medicare. So, Chalen, obviously you're compliance officer for McNerney Management Group. But my initial response is that compliance, when it comes to teaching people, what compliance says and a person has to understand is their Medicare coverage, specifically their Medicare Advantage and PDP. That's where compliance gets in hand. You do have to go through their Medicare Advantage and PDP benefits in full formularies. You have to go through the coverages. You have to go through the co-pays. That's where CMS is they have to understand their insurance coverage completely. It doesn't really say a whole lot about the person's understanding about Medicare.
No, they have to understand the product they're buying. They're not buying, quote unquote, A and B from you. they're buying a supplement, they're buying an Advantage plan, they're buying a drug plan, whatever the case may be, they need to be aware and understanding of how those products work and what they're purchasing. Now, a part of that is understanding how it works with original Medicare or as a replacement to original Medicare.
But do you know what most people talk about in a Medicare 101? They spend so much time talking about what the client will never experience. They talk about the Part A deductible. They talk about all these things.
The
like
365th hospital
the
day.
365th hospital day. They talk about the things that the consumer will never experience. Well, not that I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't come after me. They're talking about the things that are very rarely a consumer will actually come in contact with. What I would rather you see your Medicare 101 discuss is areas that Medicare falls short. So talking about how are you going to cover that Part B deductible if they want to? How are you going to cover that Part A deductible? How are you going to cover how they get, hospitalizations covered? How are they going to cover a nursing home stay? How are you going to cover the cost of cancer? How are you going to cover dental vision hearing? So it is much more beneficial to you, and it's much more beneficial to your consumer to educate them on where Medicare covers short, and then their Medicare supplement, Medicare Advantage plan, make sure they understand what costs they're susceptible to when it comes to that. But that's really where people need to focus on. Now, William asked a great question. How do you fully do a compliant phone appointment in less than 1 hour to read all the required disclosures and cover everything CMS requires?
Practice.
That's true. Now, what Chalen and I are talking about specifically is the Medicare 101 portion. Like, we have several agents whose appointments take 2 hours plus, and it's because they do a Medicare 101 appointment with everybody, returning clients, new clients, everything. If your appointment is going long because a person has questions about the coverage, or you're doing a compliant Medicare Advantage PDP appointment, they have questions on their Medicare supplement, that's different because you're spending time talking about things that actually affect them. What we're talking about specifically is don't do a Medicare 101 that's an hour-long presentation. Don't do one that's a 30-minute presentation.
Don't do one at all. Just
don't do yes. Great point.
Make sure people know what they need to know. I don't think a client would not be sitting down with you if they got their Medicare card in the mail and thought that was all they needed.
Yeah.
They wouldn't bother talking to you if they thought that A and B was all they needed. They know they need something else because they read, they see commercials, they are online, they have probably done their own research. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, especially in Medicare. Like, for decades, like the research has said, and it's only getting more, more intense, that like by the time someone talks to a salesperson, whether it's an insurance agent or a car salesman or an appliance vendor, whatever it is, like 70% of the buying process is done before they walk into a store.
Yes.
And with the younger generations, it's more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like me. If I'm researching a large purchase, like I'm walking in and I'm walking out in less than 30 minutes in a perfect world, because I don't want to talk to someone for an hour about my new dishwasher. I just want to take it home.
I want to take it home. Well, that's what even realtors, right? Realtors, who a lot of people, the biggest investment they will ever make is in their home. And a realtor will say, if we have to look at more than 3 houses, they're not ready to buy because they haven't done the research online. So like, that's kind of a buying sign of like, how serious are they? If I have to show them more than 3 houses, and they're like, it's what they're looking for in an agent is going to be confirmation of what they already think, or just like answering some questions. Which is why having a value add is so important, because Google can do that. So figuring out what is it that you can do, what you bring to the table that Google can't do. The best Medicare 101 that I've seen in an appointment setting is actually taking the Medicare and You handbook, and it's the page, it used to be like page 6 or 7. I don't know what page it is today, but it's just literally like a T-chart, and it says original Medicare with a MedSup, a Medicare Advantage plan, and it shows like the 2 pathways. We call that the 2 pathways program. And that 2 pathways is 90% of what a person needs to know about Medicare. Is if I go a Medicare with the MedSup with a Part D, or do I go the Medicare Advantage route with my privatized Medicare? That's what people care about. Now,
they want to know what it's going to cost. They want to know if they can see their doctor. They want to know if they can afford their drugs.
100%. Pills, doctors, cost. If you answer those 3 questions, a person's really happy. But I really do suggest that you alter your Medicare 101 to be more focused on where Medicare falls short.
Yep.
Because that's what's going to affect your clients the most.
And to get back to William's question, like genuinely though, it just takes practice. Like, by the time you do 100 of them, you'll be a lot faster. Because you got to go through a handful of disclaimers. You've got to go through the summary benefits. You've got to explain the plan completely. But the
Yeah.
thing is, it doesn't take any less time on the phone than it does in person. So just, it just takes practice. It takes getting into a flow with it and learning how to do it effectively.
And I'd like to see how you're using technology.
Yeah,
Because
for
the
sure.
technology like Integrity Connect and other platforms has really shortened the process.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get your clients to send over their list of their medications, their providers, like doing like through Client Sync or Retire Flow is another version of that. If you can get, that's what takes up a majority of an appointment, not the majority, a huge chunk of an
chunk.
appointment time is spent with the fact finding, getting their doctors, getting their medications, things like that. So with today's seniors, they want to be involved earlier. Like Chalen said, back whenever that he's saying now about 70% of the shop buying process done online. Your baby boomers today want to get early, like they want to be involved as early as they can. So when you send them something like Client Sync, they can enter in their drugs, they can enter in their doctors, they can even start like looking around and shopping coverages. That's what people are into, and that's a huge value add to give them that convenience and to let them be involved in earlier. That's a huge, huge value add. So your technology can really enhance the client experience. Technology should never take away from a human experience. It should not lessen the human experience, and a lot of times it does.
Yep.
Do not let technology do that. It should be enhancing that experience.
Yep. Michelle's asking how much can you disclose about cost before a scope of appointment is effective. I guess part one to that is you can tell someone what their Part B premium is. You can tell someone what the market average Med Sup is. You can tell someone that Medicare Advantage plans often have low or no premium before you have a scope appointment. But I guess my biggest question is you've got 97 ways to collect a scope. Why is someone walking into your office without one?
Which, Chalen, correct me if I'm wrong, in 2026 is an issue because they're waiving the 48-hour rule.
There'll be 27.
27 waiving the 48-hour rule. Okay, so coming up, not yet, but yeah, there's and keep in mind when do you need a scope appointment? It's when you're talking details about Medicare Advantage and Part D. When you're talking details and very specific things, then absolutely get that scope appointment. And to Chalen's point, unless they're walking into your agency without an appointment, if they do that, then that the 48-hour rule is waived. But nobody should be sitting across from you without having a signed scope ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is probably really controversial and some people will disagree
Ooh,
with
I
it,
love
but I am of the opinion that if you have a good prospecting process, a good communication system, and are setting good expectations with clients, there is almost never a reason for a basic Medicare enrollment to be a 2-appointment process.
I agree. Carrie, who is another host on the show, she's a 2-appointment girly, and I get that. But, like, people don't want to do this twice. And to be fair, her second appointment is never actually face-to-face. It's just a phone call about going through the coverage before they sign the app. But I agree. I don't like it. I don't like it a two-step appointment.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Carrie also operates a little differently than a lot of agents. I mean, working with a lot of new to Medicare folks,
Yeah.
trying to lock them in, 3 months out,
Yep.
and then following up closer to
Very
their actual
true.
date. So, like, to an extent, that makes sense just to, like, lock the client in. But again, it's just,
Yeah.
if you're communicating, if you're, all of that stuff, I really don't see a reason for a 2-appointment process.
To agree. Controversial. Prove us wrong. Oh, I want to do a segment. This is not for you. I want to talk to my producer Alex really quick. I want to start doing a segment. I watched a podcast called We're Here to Help, and it's hilarious. But there's a teacher on there that does. I love it. There's a teacher on there that does a series called Hot Takes. Does anybody know this when I'm talking about hot takes? Big fan. 10 out of 10. Would love to do a hot takes and then like argue with people in the audience.
Oh, yeah.
Not me. Chalen will do the hot takes. I'm too scared. So question, isn't the 48-hour rule? I asked the same thing. Chalen says that's a 2027 change.
Correct.
So 2026, the 48-hour rule will still continue.
Yep. And technically, that's just a proposed rule right now. It won't get finalized until, like, next April, and then it'll be effective for plan year 2027.
Guys, it is 10:26.
And you thought it was going to be short today.
I did think it was going to be short. I say that every week.
Or yappers.
There's a joke to be said here, but I am a mature adult, so I will not. My friends, family, loved ones, Medicare, cafeers, what a fantastic episode. Had a lot of fun. Hopefully didn't ruffle too many feathers, didn't
I
get too
hope
many
we did.
people. I hope I ruffled at least a feather. I would like one feather to ruffle, please. Retrieve me the feather. We'll have last cafe of the year will be next Tuesday. If everything goes to plan, we'll see. Alex, are you in office next Tuesday? Okay. So if Alex is here, then we can have an episode. So next week we'll do our final cafe of the year. Maybe wear some cool. Maybe this again. I dig this. It's not gonna be after Christmas, but New Year's is still a thing. Chalen and I, again, Chalen, thank you for coming today on your day off. What are you doing with the rest of your day?
Well, I'm gonna get Theo to go back home, and he's gonna probably settle in either watching a Christmas movie or playing on the computer for a little while I wrap presents and kind of get things ready. I've also got to dig through the freezer and pull some stuff. We're doing a fish fry for Christmas at my in-laws.
I love that.
Yeah, so I've got to mix up my hush puppy batter and.
I don't like fish, but I love hush puppies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it?
Me and the kids always get chicken nuggets. So,
Hey.
but I get my hush puppy game. Puppy chicken nuggets. Carb.
Listen, I realize it's the
no.
McDonald's of seafood, but I really miss Long John Silver's.
I hate it. It's so gross. My husband loves Long John Silver's, and it's fast
Wait,
food.
so here's the
seafood.
thing.
What a vibe.
This is like back in the day, but I distinctly remember there's a big debate in the community right now about like switching back to like animal based fats and things like that for like frying oils and stuff.
Right. I keep very up to date. On such matters.
People talking about like cooking French fries in tallow instead of canola oil and things like that. So I remember like when I was a little kid, like late 90s, early 2000s was like when that was a big discussion. Saturated fats, triglycerides, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, fats were bad.
And like
sugars were good.
all of the rest, fast food joints switched to low trans fat oils and stuff.
Yeah.
And after that point, I could not eat Long John Silver's anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but whatever oil they switched to just did
Do
not
you
sit
remember
well
when
with me.
KFC was Kentucky Fried Chicken and they changed it to KFC because the fried was like turning people off?
Yeah.
That's why they changed it. And it was like the whole like diet culture that we had in late 90s,
Oh
early
man,
2000s.
we're going way long here, but so here's the deal. So like that KFC is like the place to go for Christmas in Japan.
I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. They like
Korea and
wow.
Japan,
yeah.
they love KFC.
They spent a huge amount of marketing money to that's like the place to like everyone you eat KFC on Christmas.
I had
That's the
no
thing.
idea.
That's the thing
That's
to do.
a fun tradition.
Yeah, like the
Nice.
same way we feel about ham and turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes.
Soup. I'm a soup
They
girly.
yeah, but
I love
like
my Christmas
KFC
soup.
for Christmas, that's what they do over
KFC
there.
for Christmas, man. I would love that. Well, what I'm doing the rest of the day, and no one asked, but I want to tell you my story, is I got to go pick up, I got to
was
take
really
my
rude and
kid.
Didn't say. What
I have
about
to.
you?
Well, let's try again. That's fascinating about KFC.
Alex, what are you doing later?
I'm going Christmas shopping and taking my son. We got to go get a couple more gifts. We're going to the candy factory. Then we're making Christmas cookies, and then probably a Christmas movie and sleeps. You can come, Alex. Absolutely. We're just doing all the Christmas things.
What kind of Christmas cookies?
Sugar, Pillsbury, the pre-rolled kind.
Okay.
100%. Y'all, we will see you next Tuesday, 10 a.m., same time, same place. So until then, have fun.
Oh, make money.
Oh my God, Chalen.
Listen, I haven't been on here in a while.
And give impeccable service. Merry Christmas.